Well, from rugby to hockey, because the South African men's and women's hockey teams are off to the FIH Indoor World Cup next week, which will be held in Croatia. And to find out more about the preparations and the expectations, we've got players here that are heading off to Croatia. I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hi, Tabisa. My name is Rustin. I play for the national indoor men's team, the Blitzboks. And yeah, just excited to be here.
Edith?
Hi, everyone. I'm Edith Murikwe, and I'm part of the SA Women's Indoor Hockey team. And yeah, and we are named as the SPA SA Women's Hockey team.
Okay, now how long have you been playing hockey for now? How popular, firstly, is indoor hockey?
So I've been playing hockey since grade 2, so it's since I was very, very young. And indoor, as a growing sport in South Africa, we have a lot of kids that are actually playing indoor now. And also we have a tournament for juniors and seniors at the end of the year in December where they'll play, and it's PSI. And I think that's where most of us national indoor players have also played in order to be where we are now.
And how has your journey been?
So yeah, I pretty much started again as well as grade 2, so that's about 22 years, getting old. And yeah, pretty much came through the ranks playing PSI, like Edith said. It's grown from probably 3-4 teams to close to 1,000 kids that play this sport in over a space of, 6 days? Yeah. So I think out of our team, especially the men's team, there's only 2 real players that actually didn't get a chance to experience PSI. And that would be our most capped player, Justin Domneo, and Jethro Eustace, who's also, I think, on 60-odd caps. So yeah, I think PSI sort of let us grow the sport as a nation, and it's been quite cool.
How different is it from field hockey?
It's quite different. I think field hockey, we play with a squad of 18 and with 11 players being on the field, whereas indoor, we play with a squad of 12 and 6 players on the field, so 1 goalkeeper and 6 outfield players.
Okay. And for you, Edith, now going to this World Cup, what are the expectations then for the women's side, firstly?
I think the expectations are very high for everyone, obviously coming 4th in the previous Indoor World Cup. So I'll definitely say, as it goes, we do want to work harder and kind of keep our spots and hopefully medal at the Indoor World Cup. But it's going to be very, very hard. We have to keep working hard in order to get where we want to be, and the goals that we have set as a team, and see whether those will help us get to where we want to be.
And who are some of the strong teams? Who are some of the favorites? Is it the Netherlands, like we know in field hockey? Is it similar nations also in indoor hockey?
I think it would be similar as well, as the Netherlands actually aren't playing in this World Cup this year. But you have your Germany, you have your Austria, you have Poland. So it's pretty tough teams. The Europeans are very, very good at indoor, all of them. Like, I cannot mention a team, but they're all good. They play their indoor through their winter season, and yeah, it's going to be a very, very tough tournament. And
for the men, what are you expecting, or what are you targeting at the World Cup?
So last World Cup we came 6th, so this year we're definitely trying to get a medal. We always like to say we aim for gold, but realistically we do want a medal. I think it's probably one of the best years for us to try and get a medal and bring it home. It is going to be tough. We do have the host nation, Croatia.
Yeah.
The last 2 World Cup winners, Austria in our pool, and as well as Poland. So very tough pool to get out of. But again, if you want to win a World Cup, you got to play all the good teams, and you got to go and beat them.
And what gives you the confidence that maybe you could do something this time around?
I think our preparation has been really good. The team dynamic, sort of our culture, us as a whole, sort of really been quite a nice, inclusive bunch. I think back when I started, we only, for World Cup selection, we had about 15, 16 players attending a selection camp. This year or last year, we had close to 45 players attending a selection camp. And out of those 45 players, very easy to say 45 players could have made the squad. So it's very close, and I think this is probably our best year to get a medal.
And how have your preparations been? Have you guys been in the same camp during this time?
So to be honest, we haven't had the same preparation as the men have had, obviously due to funding. Like we said, South African hockey, indoor and outdoor, are not as well funded as all the other sports. So it's been very, very difficult for the women's team to kind of come together and train and just be together as a team in preparation for the World Cup. But we have been training in our separate provinces just getting the work done and just doing everything that we can do in order to prepare for the World Cup. And I think one thing I can say is that we're not going to use this as an excuse because of funding. Like, we can still train where we are, we can still communicate and just still be together where we can be.
But you should still be getting support. You should still be getting funding if you're going to represent the country at the World Cup. Why do you think you don't get that support?
Well, if you look at it, South African hockey is not seen as a big sport in South Africa. So we're not well funded like your rugby, your netball, your cricket. So that's the other problem, is that because we don't win the big tournaments that we want to win, no one's ever going to be like, okay, I'm going to sponsor the team that's not winning. A lot of companies or whoever would like to sponsor wants to see results, and results don't come in a day. It's a long process, and I think that's what sponsors struggle with, and being able to stick with a team.
Before the Olympics last year, we spoke to the coaches, and they were saying that they don't get paid. And even though they were going to the Olympics and you're a national team coach, is it the same with the indoor hockey also?
Yeah, unfortunately, it is quite tough. I don't think either of us has been paid, and we've both gone to a World Cup. This would be our second World Cup. For example, I'm taking leave from work, and that's quite tough, being a biokineticist. You don't really get paid unless you're there. I know Edith is doing her sort of final year of studies, and she's pushing her years back further because she has to take this amount of leave because she can't do her practicals. So it is quite tough. I think we are quite fortunate for the ladies to have SPA and us to have Tops to sort of back us through, and other sponsors like Spec and Coronations that also have jumped on board this year sort of push us through to give us sort of a fighting chance, because like Peter said, they don't have a pre-World Cup camp. We both leave on Monday, where we've had camp for the last sort of 5 days. We started on Wednesday, and even then we still sort of struggle for funds here and there. So it is quite a massive burden on the players. I know for us it's quite tough, like I said, taking leave from work, either not being able to actually complete our studies because of hockey. So yeah, it is quite difficult, but like Tia said, we can't really complain. We have to go out and get a medal, and once we get a medal, then hopefully companies will jump on board, you know. So we're fortunate to have our title sponsors, SPA and Tops and SPA, to sort of push us through and believe in us. But hopefully with their belief we can get a medal, and then we can get some more sponsors. But
how different is the scenario maybe compared to some of the other teams that you'll be playing against in this World Cup? Are they able, maybe these top nations, to focus fully on playing the sport?
Yeah, if we take sort of our neighbours Namibia, I think their government gave each team 3 million Namibian dollars, and they've been in Europe for the last 20 odd days, and they've been training in Amsterdam. I believe the men's had a test match against Croatia yesterday and pretty much this weekend. So they're pretty much playing test matches and top level hockey, and we're sort of struggling to have camps, and we're having camps now. So that's sort of the difference in fundings that we have. But at the end of the day, like we said, no one's going to care that we've come 12th and we don't have funding. People care when we start getting medals or start getting top 4, top 2s, and that's just the reality of our sport.
Said reality indeed. Edith, what about representation in hockey? How has it been over the years? I remember, I'm old enough to remember the days of Tami Tsolegile and Lungile Tsolegile playing hockey. We've seen Masha, Sanani over the years. How are things now?
I think things are good, are better. We well looked after athletes when we need to be looked after when we're on tour. So it's really, really nice. And I think the culture also is changing just a little bit. People believing in what we're doing and understanding what type of sport we are, why we do it. We get asked a lot of questions like, why do you still do it if you're not getting paid?
That was my next question, actually.
And I'm just like, it's for the love. Like, you never ever think about it when you started. Well, when I started personally, I never ever thought about getting paid playing for my national team. It was all about the love of the sport. It's what I used to do when I was a little kid. And it was all for fun at the beginning. So I think hockey is definitely growing in South Africa, especially indoor and the outdoor. We do have more national teams starting from under 16 all the way through to senior. So I think it's taking a good direction, and I can't wait to see where it ends up.
So finally, when do you leave, guys, and when does the World Cup actually start?
So we leave on Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. from OR Tambo, and then the World Cup will start the 3rd, so that'll be the following Monday, and that'll be in Porek.
So both men and women's teams start at the same time?
Correct.
Will you get some practice matches when you're at that side?
Yeah, so we've got 2 practice matches scheduled against Trinidad and Tobago, and I think Argentina. We might have a third one, but that's not confirmed yet. I'm not sure. Edith, do you guys have any?
Well, they didn't even have a camp.
I'm
Hey, might be
not
tough.
aware of any games, but I'm
Okay.
sure our coach has something planned for us once we arrive and just a bit of training once we land. So, yeah, I don't think he wants to really give away too much just yet. So, yeah, we'll see once we land.
Okay, guys, we wish you all the best. Thank you very much for joining us. You are true patriots of this country here, playing for the love of the game. I know the Sports Minister, Gayton McKenzie, is watching, is very passionate about rewarding our athletes financially. Minister, here's a team that's going to the World Cup. Don't forget them and your budget there.